Okay.
Yep,
Greetings.
my
Well,
sorry about that. My finger slipped and I hit the outro by accident because the outro and the intro are right next to each other.
yeah. They're also clearly labeled, but yeah, they are right next to
Well,
each other.
no,
That's true.
I was scrolling up, and my finger hit because I'm not using my mouse.
Mhm.
I'm using my keypad right now. So when I scrolled up, I clicked on accident just before I got to it. That's how the outro came out.
No, fair enough. Greetings, salutations, and welcome to Abyssal Musings number 91. I'm Sammy the Infamous, and this here is Lawrence Knight.
What's going on, everybody? Good evening from my car.
Yeah, we're experiencing some challenges tonight. Lawrence is in his car, and so that's always an interesting place to stream from. Um, for those of you who followed Amira for a while, you've seen her do it a couple of times, and sometimes it goes really well, and sometimes it doesn't. So it just should be interesting. And my head is going to explode probably sometime during the stream. So this will be fun.
Yeah, well, where I'm at is has a really good signal, so so I'm good. It's just folks, just the place where I'm staying at right now. There's nowhere to do the show because there's literally somebody living in every room, and since people decided to sit on the couch and watch the Olympics, which is exactly where I had planned on streaming, that forced me out into the car with him looking at me like, "Yeah, why are you going to the car?" And I was like, "There's nowhere else to stream. You
Mhm.
guys are in here talking and you're watching. Where else am I going to do this?"
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Sometimes you just got to do what you got to do, and and all you in chat, you you know how rife that this channel's shows are with technical difficulties. Normally, they're 100% on my end, um, so
Well, not
just roll with it
100%.
like you usually do.
Not 100%. I mean, where I have been staying for the last what 6, 8 months was causing havoc. On
Mhm.
my on and I guess it's because Streamyard uses so much bandwidth.
It does. It uses a ton of it. That's actually been a consistent issues because like you're running this, you're basically running a separate app that's requiring its own amount of bandwidth in addition to whatever the computer's using for internet.
Thanks, Cole. I appreciate it. It's more than what Sammy offers.
Dude, it's Wyoming. There's a lot of space here. You pretty much have your pick. So I figured that was obvious, but yeah, it is what it is. Um, but yeah, welcome to the show, guys. It should be an interesting one. I'm gonna go ahead if there are no objections. Say hello to the chat.
Go right on ahead.
We got Beak, finger red number one. It's so weird. Some of the emojis that you can use on YouTube that'll show up just fine in the YouTube chat only show up as descriptions in the StreamYard chat, including, by the way, the US flag, which is interesting because it'll show the gay pride flag on StreamYard, but it won't show the US flag. Um, we also have Kohai Masochist here with us tonight. It's He's getting into it with Beak. I did actually read the chat while we were getting set up. It was pretty funny. Aaron Laura's with us. Hello, hello, hello.
Hi, Aaron.
We have Jacob Gallo. Hello.
Yeah, cool.
Um, I'm gonna try not to belch into the microphone. I did just down like a whole chocolate milkshake in under a minute, so that might happen. We'll see. Uh, yeah. We got Suka with us. Good to see you, my man. Let's see. Scrolling down, scrolling down, scrolling down. Hey guys, you guys are talkative tonight. Andy Pickle. Hello, sir.
And
Um,
pickle
I
jar.
think that covers everybody. As far as still being sick, Suka, I think mostly it's just a cough, like a nagging cough that won't quite quit with Larry. In my
Yeah.
case, I'm not experiencing any other symptoms. I just woke up with a migraine today, so kind of feels like somebody's trying to pound their way out of my skull from the inside with railroad spikes. But other than that, yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, and so in light of that, we are going to suspend verses for this week. and move it to next week. Um, I'm still working on more concepts for you guys, more things to bring. I was actually looking into this mystery series, but shoot, they wanted like they wanted me to pay like $25 per mystery for us to solve, and I was like, what?
Mm.
Then I started looking into the site, and it got like a suspicious rating because it said the creator of the site was hiding themselves behind a shell or something like that. And I was like, yeah, that sounds like a scam. Okay. Um, but we do have some exciting things coming up. I mean, hell, we're at episode 91, and so you figure episode 100 is probably gonna take us somewhere what around what like the beginning of October.
Yeah, give or take. It's about 9 weeks out, assuming we don't, reschedule anything for reasons down the road.
Yeah,
But
so it's
yeah,
gonna
should
take
be
us
about
some
9, 10 weeks.
Yeah, so October is going to be a busy one. I'm already putting stuff on the brainstorming board, not just for the 100th show, but also for the entire month, which is why I'm like running around like a madman right now, looking to do something that we haven't done. Um, I know last year we focused on Lovecraft, H.P. Lovecraft. Um, that proved to be a more daunting task than I thought.
It's a rabbit hole. Yeah.
Yeah, Yeah, it's definitely a rabbit hole. Um, and so this year, I think I wanna focus on I wanna focus on, and maybe it's cliche, but I do wanna focus on movies. Um,
Mhm.
and not just the movies themselves, but the work that went into making the movies. Like we all know that the guy that was behind Werewolf in London also um, helped out, or when his apprentice helped out with a Thriller.
No, he did Thriller, but his apprentice helped out with The Howling because they were made at
Gotcha.
the same
Gotcha.
time, which is why some of the special effects are very similar because it comes from the same effects house.
Right. So so yeah, I want to I want to do a deep dive into that. Um, Maybe crazy happenings that's happened on Halloween. We'll do of course we'll put together a PowerPoint quiz for that. Don't worry, guys. I don't think I'm not gonna you know combine us with I'm not gonna throw videos at you guys. I think that those
Village.
quizzes can be done without it. Um, Maybe a choose-your-own adventure story. That I can write up for you guys or something. So yeah, I've got some things on the board. I want to have something every week. For October. For us to go into, but a general. But I also want the overarching thing to be to pick a movie, do a deep dive on it. Like I said, the special effects, the things that went into making these movies and making them what they were or what they are today.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So we've got some planning to do. That's definitely for sure.
yeah,
Especially for that 100th episode. I think we might want to have some people on and make it a special thing. So but yeah, yeah. So welcome in, Zillage. Good to see you, my man. You've been kind of AWOL a little bit. Glad you're back.
well, it takes a village to disappear. So, but as long as he's alive and breathing.
Right.
Now, as for tonight, folks, as I said, tonight we're going to we're not gonna do verses tonight because I mean, if Sam's got a migraine, tonight's conversation is gonna tonight's battle will take some thought because it's Candyman versus the Tall Man from Phantasm. So we're gonna postpone that to next week. But tonight we have some infamous news for you guys, and we have a list of the 13 worst horror movies of all time. Now, this is not a list that we created because I could probably think of a how there's movies that are not on that list that I was like, there's movies on this list that I would have took off and put others on it in their place. but
It's This isn't the Screen Rant list by any chance, is it?
It is. No, no,
Yep.
no. Wait. No, it's not.
Oh,
Uh,
okay. I was gonna say because Screen Rant makes the dumbest fucking lists.
yeah. I figured out real quick. No. This was Collider.
Yeah, okay. Well, there's a bit of overlap there too, but yeah, it'll be fun.
Yeah, I know. So we'll see what we think about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Before we move forward with that, I kind of want to plug another channel real quick. So you brought up the Lovecraft thing, and today I've been re-listening to a video that I listened to years ago. The reason that I started following this channel, it's called Horror Babble. It's here on YouTube. They do readings of all kinds of public domain horror stories, but they're big like staple or things like Clark Ashton Smith and Robert E. Howard and H.P. Lovecraft specifically. And the reason I bring that up is because the guy who does all of the narration is a dude named Ian Gordon, and I believe his wife helps him out with all the production. They hire out for like some artwork and some musical stuff, but otherwise, it's all just those two. And they're not like a low profile channel. They do pretty well stuff. But if you guys are interested in just like having something to listen to, that's not your usual stuff while you're out working or jogging or whatever, like I do. Um, what got me into it was this particular video that I'm listening to, which is a 22-hour reading of the entire Cthulhu mythos by H.P. Lovecraft, back to back to back to back.
And he didn't go insane.
No, he didn't. But it's pretty fucking epic. It's about 6 years old now, and they've been doing a lot of other stuff, and they branched out into other authors, and even had started writing and producing their own stuff. And some of it's just straight readings, and some of it's more like radio play kind of stuff. Um, Definitely worth checking out. Go check out the channel. It's called Horror Babble. It's pretty cool. And I just wanted to bring them up because they're awesome, and I've been fucking listening to them for years.
Okay.
That's it. That's all I got.
All right. Well, let's start off with tonight's news. So this first article, I couldn't even laugh at the guy. I couldn't even laugh at him. Um, but apparently there was an accident with his hair dye. Massive hair dye reaction leaves a man looking like Megamind.
His skull swelled.
His skull swole up. So here's the video. So I'm gonna put the you take the music off. But so that's before he dyed his hair, right?
Okay.
So he
Looking
starts
looks
out
a bit
looking
like a young
normal.
George Michael.
Yeah, he does. Then he got
Got
a
a hair
rash.
like
Then the swelling started. So as I was looking at this, and I haven't gone into the details of the article yet, and I'm wondering how long was it before he decided to go to the doctor?
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure that this didn't happen within 5 minutes.
I think that's less Megamind and more Peter Dinklage, but yeah.
Well, the fact that he's wearing that shirt, I mean, good grief.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
And he didn't go to the doctor
D-
and he gets
why wouldn't
progressively
you
worse.
why would you not go see a doctor when your fucking dome starts swelling?
Rob maybe he thought that he wouldn't go viral if he took care of it.
Yeah, that's uh, uh, oh man. I mean, he has taken a lot of fucking selfies with this, so I don't doubt that you're probably onto something there. He's probably, left it and let it go bad for the fucking clicks. But eh, guys out there, influencers, non-influencers, whatever, don't fucking hurt yourself for this shit. It's not worth it.
It's not. This guy was obviously at work or somewhere. Yeah, I mean, maybe he wasn't at work because I don't see any boss that would
I
sit
get
there
that.
and watch their employees' heads swell up like that. Because at that point, now I don't know UK laws, but I would like to think that at some point he's assuming that the job is going to be liable.
Yeah. Andy Picklet was the leader. Yeah, there was a guy in a Hulk villain who's got an enormously
Oh
swelled
yeah,
dome
leader.
too.
Yeah,
He turned green. Yeah.
yeah. So I didn't look at my. Listen, see what he said. I didn't look like myself at all. It was massive. Ryan Briggs, 27, told Kennedy News Agency of the dye job going awry. The Lancashire native said the horrible incident occurred last month at his mother's house after she fetched him some over the counter, some cover up for some unsightly gray hairs. So, Mommy Dearest did this to you for some gray hairs.
You
All
didn't
she
read
needed
the
to do was
ingredients
clean it.
first?
I guess not. All she had to do was, well, it might have had something in there that he didn't know he was allergic to.
Yeah, that's true.
I
That's
applied
true.
the
But yeah,
dye. Let's see. I applied the dye and it did burn a little bit. Dude, that's your first sign. But I thought that's what it does. No.
mm-mm.
Unless you went all the way back into the early 90s and bought some S curl. No. The gas station, or even earlier than that. So he's a gas technician. Obviously, it wasn't. Briggs woke the next day with a tiny rash, which he initially didn't think anything of until his head started expanding. I was at work, so he was at work, and it just escalated from there, lamented the horrified lad. I looked like Megamind. It was bad. A company photo shows Bridge with a bloated band encircling his forehead. He added that his godsmacked girlfriend couldn't look at him because he resembled a balloon head.
Yeah, that's I don't know, man. That's I'm not saying that dude was like great looking before, but that didn't help. Look, man,
I
I
mean,
there's certain things that you don't want to put in contact with your scalp, right? And certain like I have an allergy to a common ingredient in most like hair conditioners. I don't know if it's selenium or not. Actually, I think selenium's in shampoos, but either way, there's a common ingredient in most hair conditioners that I can't use because it burns the shit out of my fucking skin. Right. So I just don't use hair conditioner. That makes sense. I bleached my hair one time when I was still married, just because the wife at the time wanted to see what I looked like, blonde or whatever, and we couldn't leave it in very long because I'm fucking allergic to chlorine. Guess what bleach is? You know?
right.
So yeah, because it burns the shit out of my skin. So you know what I don't do? I don't put that shit on my skin anymore.
Well,
So,
well, I mean, what he should have put on his skin is common sense. In
mhm.
fact, he should have had it injected inside his skin. Um, See, my colleague said you need to go to the hospital. Says Briggs, who heeded their advice. Why did you have to be told that?
Mhm.
Despite his extreme swelling, doctors told the patient to return home and report back if his condition deteriorated, which it unfortunately did. Okay, okay, so that's on the hospital too. I thought I'd wake up and it'd be done, but I woke up and it was totally different, lamented the Brit, who called an ambulance to pick him up as he couldn't see due to the swelling. Yeah, that's on the hospital at that point. Why would you
Yeah, it's
send him home?
it's socialized medicine for you.
Yeah, I'll just go home and then cross the fingers. Well, maybe he'll die. And, we'll save money because he won't come back because he'll be dead.
Mhm.
Briggs was in a hospital for 13 hours as medics tried to reduce the swelling. It would have been as bad if he'd have took him yesterday.
Right.
Doctor said Briggs' condition was triggered by paraphenylene diamine, PPD, a known irritant and allergen commonly found in hair dyes. Wow. In fact,
Wait,
the
wait,
U.S.
wait,
Food
wait, wait. He said it was known.
a known irritant and allergen commonly found in hair dyes. In
The
fact, the
doctor should
U.S.
have caught
Food
that.
In fact, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration advises prospective dyers to conduct a patch test wherein they rub the coloration agent on their skin to see if they react before applying the chemical to their hair. Bray spent 13 hours in the hospital while medics attempted to prevent the swelling from reaching his neck and airways. The workman was subsequently discharged around 3 a.m., after which his girlfriend had to guide unspecified prescription medication for him. That's a typo if there ever was one. And he still couldn't see out of one eye due to the extreme swelling. And while the poor fellow's noggin has since shrunk back to normal, he says his scalp is full of yellow and green scabs. Ouch. Rick says he's just grateful that his throat didn't close up. It could have been worse. It could have been raining flaming cobras. It was going down to my neck and everything, said the Brit, who is now advising people to take a patch test so that they don't die after dying.
Yeah, he didn't say a thing about the covers, but yeah, no, he's lucky he didn't lose his fucking eyes.
Yeah.
You know, with swelling that intense, like it could have like smushed his eyeballs like fucking grapes.
Oh yeah. But you know, and I have to wonder if there is some vision damage that he's just not experiencing yet.
Might be. I don't know. If he cracked a lens or something due to the swelling, yeah. You know, that's awful, man. Like always, always, always read the ingredients. And if you don't know what a thing is and you can't figure out what a thing is and there's no available information on the thing, right? Don't apply the thing to yourself.
Can you imagine how hard it was for his girlfriend not to laugh at him?
I I mean, that seems like it's pretty dire. She might have laughed like in the beginning, but I don't know if she would have continued that because that'd be a pretty worrying thing to watch somebody go through.
Come on. Now, I mean, now by the time his eyes swell up, okay. But initially, I'm willing to bet at some point she laughed. If he looked any worse, he would have looked like Martin when Martin got beat up by Tommy Hearns, and the next day his head swelled up and he looked like a big chocolate chip cookie.
See, I kind of see where you're going with that, but like the article makes reference to Megamind, right? Megamind is not the first place my head goes when I see somebody's swelled up melon like that. I think of Scanners, right? And for those of you who don't remember, Scanners was about a bunch of psychics who would make people's heads swell up and then explode with their mind powers. So that's where my
Oh
head goes.
no, you know what he made me think about? Remember Fist of the North Star when he hit that one guy upside the head, and that guy had to wear straps on his head to keep his head from exploding, and his head swole up to a certain size before he managed to get the straps on the side on. But the next time he ran into the fist, and the fist took the straps off his head got huge, and then it exploded.
Yeah, that reference is a little lost on me. I never watched Fist of the North Star or read the anime. The only reason I even know that it was a thing was because there was a NES video game when I was a kid.
It was a Game Boy game too.
Yeah. So, but I had no idea that was like a anime or manga thing until actually last year, I think. I never watched any of it, so I'm not familiar with that reference. No.
Yeah. All right. Well, segueing into the next article. Now, here's something that you would have done. I'm pretty sure that you would have coached this little girl, this lady, into doing this when she was a kid. I'm sure you would have coached her. So this TikToker, I believe it says she's like, yeah, she's 32. So what she did was, let's see. So apparently, when she was a kid, when she was 7, her teacher's mother died, right? And so she made a
Mm.
card for her teacher. Teacher, I'm so sorry. Uh, comp in computer
Computer.
teacher that your mom had to die. Sorry. While the sentiment was sweet for Lindsay Sherrod Keeling, 32, her elementary linguistics skills didn't exactly reflect that.
Okay, so this is oh
Yeah,
okay, that's what, because that first part, there was nothing wrong with that first part. It was, you know, the second part's pretty
but
funny.
everybody has to die someday. That is 100% something that you would have said, and that's
It's
not the worst
true
part of it. How did I know you were going to say that?
because it
Keeling's
is.
Keeling called the not spell check note one of her mortifying childhood stories that she did this like back in '99, but that she also laughed so hard when the note resurfaced. Her mom had it apparently. So what is and today was your mom's turn to
Oh,
die.
oh, oh. Okay, yeah, that's harsh. That's pretty fucking harsh.
Yeah.
I probably would have left that part off.
Now that's a shocker. You leaving that part out.
It's like, yeah, she's 7. It's still well intentioned. Oh,
Yeah. So
today was your mom's turn. That's yeah, that's a little much. It's going a little
yeah, it
too
was in
far.
front of it. Man, this cough, man. At least my throat isn't. At least my lungs aren't inflamed anymore. But yeah. And today it was your mom's turn to die. Um, the good thing is that she had the wherewithal to show the letter to her mother before she gave it to the teacher.
That's good.
She recalled the school's principal let the kids know that the teacher's mom had passed away and that they would have a substitute. He did not assign us to color any pictures or anything for our teacher, but apparently I decided to do so anyway. She added, and she called herself a subscribed, very emotional child who had just lost her own pet bird. At the time, she was curious about the question that begs us all the meaning of death, and her mother bought Keeling a child book about loss. Quote, I guess I put my newfound knowledge to use and wrote a very factual sympathy card. Said Keeling, who, in a bizarre career twist, will go on to serve as a funeral director before becoming an author. I'm sure I was very proud of it because I excitedly showed it to my mother, who was wise enough to gently take it from me so I couldn't give it to my teacher. She said of the otherwise unshared sentiment. The car recently resurfaced when Keeling's mom found it to cheer up her daughter after learning her grandfather passed away in July. Since posting it, Keeling has been swept up in the response online. It's got heart, humor, and doodles. I give it 10 out of 10. I can't stop laughing. If I were your teacher, it honestly would have made me feel better. Deep down, it seems the card ended up reaching the right people. Let me tell you something, folks. They can say what they say now, but I was one of those kids where if an adult was going through something, I tried to cheer them up. I got my right butt cheek tore off for walking up to a woman who was oversized, an oversized teacher, and telling her, and I said, quote, you're not fat, you're pretty. So, as much as these people are saying, oh, I thought it was a great, no, you wouldn't have. If you were grieving the loss of your parent and some 7-year old terror handed you that, you would not have laughed.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I suppose it depends on the individual who's grieving, right? Some people do find humor in things because it's the only way to move forward. So I don't know. I think it's possible that it would have gone over very well depending on who the teacher was. Um, Odds are it wouldn't have. You're right about that, but there's always that chance. But it's probably better that it didn't end up going that way. It is kind of funny that she ended up in the mortuary business though, because
Yeah, yeah.
their whole shtick is making the living feel better about putting their loved ones in a box. Like they're very, very good at putting people at ease, and because they have to be, because they live in a house of death.
Also embalm the hell out of those bodies and then put them in the ground.
Yeah, that too. But I mean, generally when dealing with the survivors and all that stuff, you have to have a very, very soft touch and be very empathetic is probably the right word for this. Be able to read people and know what to say and when to say it, kind of shit. And obviously, at 7 years old, she had not yet developed those skills.
Yeah, she definitely had not. She definitely had not. Um,
Yeah, and to write her later too. Yeah. Yeah, it's just so funny that she ended up working in two different fields later in life that were both covered by that one note.
right, and the loss of her bird, and the book that her mom got her.
Hmm.
I mean, it's amazing how you do something for your kids and you think it's so small, but it has such a profound effect on them.
Yeah. Suka, yeah, I misspoke. Like obviously she was empathetic. I think I probably meant tact.
Yeah.
You gotta have tact.
Well, and that's something that you don't expect a kid to have tact. Kids are very blunt. They're very a matter of fact. So, tact is something that they have to be taught. And I mean, even with me, man. I mean, even my younger adult years, um, yeah, tact went out of the window real quick if you pissed me off. So,
Yeah.
now this next one. Now, you watch UFC, don't you?
Not for a
Are
few
you in the
years,
combat
but I used
sports? Well, of
for
course,
a
you used
few
to be a
years
cage
ago.
fighter.
Yeah, yeah, I used to watch it quite a bit, but yeah, I haven't really been that into it. Like I couldn't tell you the names of any prominent fighters now, except maybe Conor McGregor, and that's just because he starts shit in multiple different arenas, not just fighting. So
Yeah. Well, there's a new sport now. We've got slap fighting, which Paige Van Zant is now transitioned into, and actually won her first bout, I think, a month ago. Um, yeah, card jutsu.
oh no, I have seen this. This has come up. Um, fuck, I want to say I was on a panel about 2 months ago. Somebody brought up a video of this stuff. I don't remember which one.
This is my first time ever hearing about this. Let me see this.
This is Karjutsu Championship, America's first jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Are fairly simple. The competitors begin seated with the seatbelt fastened. When the host yells hockey, the fighters engage in combat, using any part of the vehicle to their advantage. The only way to win a round, however, is via submission.
So
Yeah. Nah, this is just extreme sports trying to be more extreme.
this tells me that somebody ran out of ideas and just started thinking out of the box. They just looked at a car. Maybe they were sitting down somewhere and they were like, "Dang, I'm about to lose my apartment. I need to figure out something." And then decided that car jutsu was gonna keep their girlfriend around and keep their lights on.
I don't know,
So
maybe. But I mean, shit. You remember the '90s? Every other week, you were hearing about some new version of a thing that already existed, but more extreme, right? This is just the same shit. It's just turned up to 11. It's our. Oh, you think cage fighting's intense? Now they're gonna fight in a minivan. You know,
but my question is, what's the illegal move? Like using the horn or something, or maybe maybe making somebody do the splits on the gear shifter, or I mean,
Honestly, I don't think there are any.
turning
yet,
the
anyway.
car on and turning the car on and driving off.
Yeah,
You know?
this is not a very regulated sport, but if you remember, like UFC is popular worldwide now, but it used to be a very illegal thing. You know, they couldn't get any kind of official sanctioning or anything like that for a long time. They had to do all their fights underground. Um,
Right.
and all that. And this is, I think, in a similar position right now. Is not very well regulated. And I don't know that there are any illegal moves aside from like don't kill the other person.
But I
That's about
mean,
it.
look, a lot can happen in a car. So what are they gonna do
Likely.
if somebody like cracks open the windshield and then slaps their opponent upside the head with the speedometer? They're gonna have to figure out something.
It's legal so far. You know, you can choke a guy out with a fucking with a seatbelt. Then I wouldn't be surprised what else.
Or
You know, bounce your head off the radio.
maybe you can eye gouge him with the air conditioning.
Yeah, I don't see why not.
I just
So
what
I mean, I see why not. I see why you shouldn't do this or encourage this. This is absolutely insane and idiotic. But for the people in that car, like, I don't see why they wouldn't use everything to their advantage to win. It's not like you have a lot of room to maneuver, so you got to take whatever advantage you can.
what if the airbags deploy and one of the guys is like facing where the airbags would be coming out and he's bent over because he's caught up in a guillotine choke or something. Now he's getting, you know, especially if the thing explodes, well, now he's got metal rod stuck in his butt cheeks and all kind. It's just
Yeah.
let me get to reading this. Karajutsu, where professional brawlers battle one another inside the confined space of a sedan-sized automobile, is the latest bizarre combat sport, cruising its way to success, featuring fighters on four wheels permitted to use anything within the car to their advantage, including seatbelts to choke out an opponent. Seatbelts,
Mm.
the edges of seatbelts, they're not dull. So,
No.
and while the claustrophobic concept might sound slightly insane, Karjutsu is burning virtual rubber on social media, already boasting a reported average 5 million views per week. Celebrity fans include Kenan Thompson and Kevin Hart. New Jersey has already approved it for gambling, and ESPN aired the phenomenon for the first time on the Ocho, the network's annual weekend celebration of obscure sports on Sunday. Okay, so it is full steam ahead on this thing. This is going to be interesting. There's something extremely visceral about watching these guys and gals go at it.
Yeah.
Says Mike Salavaris, co-founder of Pro League Network, which owns the rights to Karjutsu, says the Post. If you look at some of the footage, you see some of the camera guys mouthing to the director, "Holy crap, that actually happened," he said. Okay. The sport was originated by a Russian grad student at Kansas State University named Vic Mikhev in the United States to earn his PhD in mathematics. A black belt in judo and Brazilian jiu-jitsu, he first came up with the idea of competitive grappling inside a vehicle in 2020. The league where fighters are smushed into seats and crushed into dashboards became official 2 years ago. It's been full speed ahead ever since, with 30 regular contenders. Early matches were typically filmed inside a 2005 Toyota Scion. Ooh, that is not a lot of room. The Scion was chosen based on safety, size, and affordability, according to a league source.
What does affordability have to do with shit?
They're going to tear up the inside of the car. It's probably cheaper. They figure it's probably cheaper to
Yeah.
replace that. I mean, you're not going to have them battling it out inside of a Porsche.
Yeah.
Inside a warehouse in Branson, Missouri, but
It's
other locations and cars are now being used. I'm not going to click on a video, guys, because I don't want us to get hit with a copyright strike, um, or some kind of
Well, they'll hit us for
other.
violence for terms of service violation.
Yeah, yeah. The rules of engagement are quite straightforward. The sport operates using a 2 to 3 round system where both fighters must begin buckled into their seats. A coin flip decides who gets the driver's side and shotgun before alternating in round two. The match begins when the contenders unclick simultaneously. If the winner isn't determined after 2 rounds set at 3 minutes time, the third round starts with both fighters fastened in the back row. So they go to the back seat. Hard Jiu-Jitsu follows the rules of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, which doesn't teach punching or kicking. Instead, the focus is on painful chokeholds and bone-bending arm bars, among other techniques of grappling. So, the notion of being in a confined space like that, it opens up a whole different stream of strategies than you would normally see. Pro League Network co-founder Bill Yucatonis told the Post, adding that safety modifications like removing airbags were made in the car. Okay, so they did take out the airbags. Anything inside is up for grab to use as leverage, though snapping anything off to use as a weapon is forbidden. Okay, so there are rules. So I guess the speedometer stays put.
Mhm.
Yucatonis admitted that each round requires quite a bit of repair to the vehicle. You think lots of times fighters will quickly push the front seatbelts all the way back to create a level environment. It's quite common to see seatbelts intentionally wrapped around an opponent's neck as a way to get them to tap out. Such the case in the recent bout between Rihanna Cardilli and Miranda Ray. I guess that's these two. Some of it isn't even jujitsu, it's just surviving in there. Fighter Kyron Bowen, who also officiates told the Post. So yeah, I mean, shoot, I mean they're not playing, man. 85 degrees of heat outside is worse inside the car. Well, shoot, you're generating a high level of heat.
Mhm. Still an asinine sport.
Oh no, I look. You know what? I'm gonna give it a chance, and sometime tomorrow I'm gonna sit down and watch a bout and see how this thing goes.
Yeah, I've seen a couple myself. I don't know. I'd rather see somebody in a ring or a cage.
Mm.
Yeah. This whole car thing. This is just like, hey, you know what? You know what's really difficult is like going up against somebody. You're not sure if you can beat them or not. They're really good. They've got a great record and all that stuff. You know how to make that even more difficult? Let's do this in a fucking car. Like, why would you? It's already a difficult fucking sport. Fighting is right. There's already the potential for all kinds of things to go horrendously wrong forever. You know, why would you add risk to that? Yeah.
Boredom.
I think it says something about the state of modern Western society that this is even a thing at all. You know, I mean, how we entertain ourselves really speaks about who we are as people. You know?
Yeah, I mean,
Oh,
you would think. I mean, there's a lot of different combat sports out there. There's even one I saw. There is, I think it's called Backyard Brawls. I mean, you can catch them on YouTube every once in a while, but they have this low budget looking octagon, and I mean, it's not a cage. There's no cage, and I've seen some fights on there. I've also seen some old geriatric guys get in there and I mean, you could squeaks in their arms and legs while they were throwing punches and not connecting.
yeah, I don't know. It's not my thing. It's not my thing. I'll say that. So I'll get off my little decline of Western civilization soapbox there because obviously I contributed to some of that a few years ago. But uh, Yeah, just I don't know. I'm not a fan of this iteration of things at all. You know, um, I don't think anybody who's ever been in a car accident where the actual frame of the vehicle was impacted in such a way as to, become a hazard would be a fan of this at all. It's just there's not enough room to breathe, let alone fight. Obviously, if you're in a situation where you have to fight in a car, I get it. But making a sport out of the thing, I'm not so sure about.
Mm, I hear
That's just my
that.
opinion.
No, I mean, in this case, you might be preaching to the choir. I know we normally are on opposite ends of the spectrum on certain things, but
Mhm.
yeah, this is something that, like I said, I'm just gonna I'm gonna give it a chance and see what happens. Last article of the night. This is one of those times where I'm glad being that I'm a guy. I mean, I know some guys are in like beauty masks and stuff, and they they go through the routine that a lot of women go
Hey, man.
will do. Um, you know, no judgment on my end, but I don't know what the hell be going. I don't know what the hell is going on in Brazil. I mean, I think some of the craziest stories that we've covered have either come out of Brazil or Australia or the UK or somewhere else in the UK.
I think in Brazil's case, there's some stuff that's going on there that has to do with like what's going down in that country on a national level, but a lot of it is just Brazil. I mean, it's a wild place. If there ever was still a Wild West, it's in Brazil.
Well, yeah, I mean, rainforest, and you take your pick.
Well, I'm just talking about the cities, man, with the people.
Okay, well, maybe this young lady has too much time on her hands. Um, she's very into beauty, and she's created her own face mask. What is the face mask made out of? Her poop.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I agree. I agree with the second part of that headline right there. People are getting too extreme on the internet. Yes, that is facts. He's spitting fire.
Karjutsu.
For example,
I mean,
we're not going to actually have to see this thing, are we?
Maior loucura que fiz na vida, passei coco no rosto para hidratar e resultado ficou surpreendente.
Ah, that's not a mud mask, lady. Stop it.
no, Andy, she's gonna get stink eye. Yeah, I wonder.
Nobody wants to see this, man.
Depois de enxaguar 300 vezes, não é que minha pele ficou hidratada.
Hey, lady, I don't know what to tell you, but that just made you look like shit.
Literally, doctors are poo-pooing this feces face mask. Brazilian model Deborah Pixoto. I'm not even- is over her skincare routine that involves caking her face in her own poop. It's the craziest thing I've done in my life, she said, 31 years old. Told Jan Press of her stinky skincare method, which she recently shared on Instagram. The influencer who recently went viral for putting, okay, that's my limit. I'm not even gonna say what she put on her skin to soften it. She put blank blank to soften it, and she
I
decided
mean,
to don the feet.
I don't see how the one is worse than the other. They're both fucking disgusting.
You want me to say, okay, fine. She put period blood on her skin to soften it, and said she decided to don the fecal face mask after reading online that it could prevent aging. It worked
Reading
for me, and
online
my
where?
skin has stopped flaking.
You know why it stopped flaking, right? It's because she's been burning layers of it off.
Yes. The Instagram footage shows the content creator, who boasts over 650,000 Instagram followers, opening a container of her feces and smearing it all over her face and applying as if a mud mask. The beauty then pinches her nose closed with a clothespin to mask the stench and leaves the excremental exhale layer on for several minutes before washing it off. At the end of the video, she flaunts her glowing face for the camera. It's worked for me, and my skin stopped flaking. She raised eyebrows last year after marrying her much older cousin. What?
This is not somebody who should be influencing anything ever, anywhere.
And she says that's the craziest thing that she's done in her life, is put this poop mask on her face.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Fucking Brazilians, man. Excuse me. I don't know what to tell you about
Of course,
Brazilians.
experts were
They're
quick to
weird
slam
people.
the technique. Experts were quick to slam the bizarre beautification technique, claiming that the health issues outweigh the alleged benefits. You think, of all the skincare trends, this is one of the strangest I've come across. Let's see. There's absolutely no scientific benefit to your skin using feces as a face mask. She added that this manure makeup can make the partakers susceptible to bacterial and viral infections, food poisoning, as well as redness and discomfort. Her colleague, I'm not going to go through all this. Feces contain a plethora of bacteria, viruses, and parasites, including E. coli, Salmonella, Helminth, which I've never even heard of, which can cause serious infections and diseases. Applying feces to your face can introduce these pathogens into your body through small cuts, abrasions, or mucous membranes, leading to severe skin infections or systemic illness. Uh, but yeah, here's somebody saying we're getting too extreme on the internet. This is worrisome. Limited one critic with another wrote, "This is why aliens don't talk to us." But while doctors diss the human defecation skincare hack, some cosmetologists have previously floated fertilizing one's face with bird droppings. They claim the waste contains chemicals that break down dead cells. Use a facial scrub with soap. Wash your face. How about that? Didn't it back in the day?
Get
Didn't they use Nivea?
back in the day they used pumice, which by the way works. And you know what you don't get from pumice? Pink eye.
E. coli.
You know? Uh, I don't like this story, Larry.
Well, it's over now. So
Yeah.
now we're getting to the last part of one of our I guess was going to be one of our shortest shows ever. In fact, actually, when we first started, didn't we intend the show to only be for? It was only supposed to be an hour, I think, wasn't it?
The Screaming Into the Void was only an hour when we first started. I don't know. I think this one we targeted probably an hour and a half because we had already been doing longer shows on SITV by the time we kicked this off.
Right, but SITV is a flagship show, so it made sense that that started going over. um, but yeah. So let's go ahead and segue into this last part so you can nurse that migraine you've got.
Yeah,
So
by nurse he
folks,
means I'm just gonna go take a bunch more pills.
just make sure you understand the human. Just make sure you understand English by the time your second show starts. Now, in my opinion, Collider, their lists are usually hit or miss with me, but I think that there are some films on here that definitely belong on this list. Um, there are others that I could think of that should be on this list, before some of the ones that already are. Let's get to the number 13. Well, I didn't see this.
All right. I haven't
Yeah.
watched this yet. I do intend to at some point. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. But I did find out, and I did put a post in the community tab on this channel about this. But I did find out recently that there's another movie called Bambi: The Reckoning that's coming out, which is
What?
supposed to be set in the same universe because it's made by the same people who made Winnie the Pooh: Blood and Honey. And by the way, there's a sequel to Winnie
There's a
the
sequel.
Pooh: Blood
Yes.
and Honey that's coming out very soon.
Yep. There's a sequel.
Yeah. He looks plus. He's more pissed that Christopher Robin grew up and left him in the woods, from what I understand. Yeah, me neither. Me neither. Not alive in the mornings.
You're a vampire. You're undead.
Yeah.
But
So, but yeah, this looks retarded by all reviews. It is absolutely retarded, and I probably will love it. Piglet's apparently in it too.
exactly. It's exactly the type of movie that you like. So I haven't watched it, but I don't know what people. I don't know what critics were expecting when it came out last year. I
Well,
don't think that. Go ahead.
a lot of this has to do with the fact that the company that's making these movies, this and the sequel, and then the whole Bambi the Reckoning thing, where he apparently gets revenge on all the hunters who had something to do with his mom's death or some shit, and also looks like a zombie and has fangs for some reason. So the people who are making these movies are taking things that are in the public domain that Disney has made, and they're deliberately doing this as a bit of a send up and a satire of Disney. Like obviously they can't use like the Disney images exactly, but like there's somebody out there who's making a horror movie based on Steamboat Willie because that single film featuring who later became Mickey Mouse and Peg Leg Pete and all that went into the public domain last year. And there's nothing Disney can do to stop people from doing whatever they like with that property, provided they aren't using Mickey Mouse images and names and likenesses that are still under license by Disney. But this is kind of a pushback against Disney, actually.
Hmm. I believe that. Andy's running off some classics. Tromaville and the Toxic Avenger. I mean, they weren't meant to be great movies, but they are cult classics. Especially Killer
Mhm.
Clowns from Outer Space. That actually, I like that movie. I don't think that movie was terrible. Those clowns were not playing.
Mhm. Well,
So
that's
yeah,
what I'm
so
saying, which is that there's one coming out. It's based on the Steamboat Willie version of Mickey Mouse, but yeah, there is one happening.
Apparently, Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey is a formulaic, shameless slasher movie that looks like it costs hundreds of dollars to make. It's an artistically bankrupt, ironic good time. Now, here's the thing that a lot of people don't know: horror movies are the cheapest type of movies that you can make. Believe it or not.
Yeah, and this looks cheap for even a horror movie.
Yeah. Oh, it definitely was. I mean, they were stealing honey to try to make. They probably paid the actors in honey. That's how cheaply made it was.
They probably got their friends and
All right,
family to
number
play in
12,
it and didn't
House
pay
of
them
the
at
Dead.
all. Oh, that movie sucked.
I mean,
So
when they got a
bad.
credit. Now, House of the House of the Dead. I don't think I saw House of the Dead.
I did. It's awful. It's fucking terrible. There's this little Asian girl in it who wears a Stars and Stripes bikini and runs around like a chicken with her head cut off the whole time. And then for some reason, for no explicable reason, at the end of the damn movie, she just starts pulling out this badass kung fury and kicking the crap out of all of the zombies out of the blue. It's really bad.
Yeah, it wasn't. House of the Dead was. No, this movie isn't it the arcade game that was pretty. That was
Yeah.
pretty big around that time.
It goes further than that. They used actual gameplay footage from that game in place of filming certain scenes. Like, kind of how Doom did, except Doom actually filmed all their shit.
I'm
These guys
sure
straight up just stole it out of the
it
game.
sounded cool at the time.
Yeah. Night, Amira. Good to see you.
Yeah. We love you, Amira. Get 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 some. Just,
What's that? You kind of broke up a little.
I was telling her to get some B positive blood in her system, so she's going blood because it's not. It's a few grades up. So that'll give her more energy as long as she doesn't come after me. Anybody else with B positive blood's fine, but not me.
Yeah.
Can you still hear me?
Well, yeah, we could. The second time we got all that. The first time it was just like bits and pieces of sound. I'm not telling you that.
I'm not telling you. I'm not telling you. I already said it. I'm not saying it again. Cause see now she's looking for me, and she's gonna turn into her damn bat form and go flying around the country looking for me. I'm not saying it.
Mm-hmm.
Go after Zillage. Look, Zillage has every blood type. He's a Zillage, so he's got all kinds of. I'm not falling for that. I'm O negative. I'm not the vampire. She thinks she's slick. She's O negative. Sam's O negative. You can go drink him. You can stockpile up on your O negative.
That is unconfirmed. It's actually genuinely unconfirmed. I have no fucking idea what my blood type is.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm serious. I'm
Go-
sure it's
go-
on
go get a
paperwork
blood-
somewhere, but yeah.
Hey, there you go, Amira. Andy, go get Pickle. Go get Pickle. Blood ages like wine, and Pickle's like 100. So his is like a $4,000 bottle of champagne.
He's probably referencing the band Typo Negative.
Don't give him a way out.
I'm not.
The
I'm just
woman's about to
saying.
go blood hunting. Let her go. Yeah, no, you don't. I moved. I, mo- I, I've moved twice since you had my address. So there. Um. But anyway, yeah. So I never watched House of the Dead, and you pretty much confirmed that it's as horrible as I thought it was, which is why I didn't go see it when it came out.
Yeah. Just think of like Resident Evil 4, like the movie, not the video game, but made cheap.
Shit.
It's not good.
Like you're sickly. Never mind. Thank you for having mercy on me. So what time I should be happy about this stupid cough? Okay, let's see.
Good night, Amir.
Ab- oh, sorry. Okay. Good night. Good night, Amir. Um, I mean, it was all right. Abigail was all right. Now this one, the apparition. I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, I never heard of it. Apparently,
Got
Sebastian
Tom
Stan's
Felton.
in it.
He was yeah, Sebastian Stan.
I
Tom
don't.
Felton. He was old boy in Harry Potter. He was Malfoy, young Malfoy.
Oh, so he was the dude who gets toasted in Rise of the Planet of the Apes.
I
Because I
guess
didn't
I never
watch Harry
saw
Potter.
Rise of the Planet of the Apes.
I have no idea who Malfoy is. I just know that he gets referenced a lot whenever I watch reactors react to Rise of the Planet of the Apes. Apparently, he's in that too. So, but otherwise, yeah, I never watched Harry Potter. I don't know who Draco Malfoy is besides hearing the name once in a while. But so yeah, I wouldn't have recognized the actor's name. No. Sebastian Stan's
Okay.
been in a few things I've seen. Most notably, he plays Bucky in the MCU.
Correct. Ashley Green's been in a lot of stuff. But yeah, this one, I mean, it looks like, I mean, they do have a solid cast. Um, let's see. They have nothing to work with in an ostensibly spooky thriller that's about as non-threatening and meh as its title. Green and Stan play a couple plagued by a mysterious parasitic presence in their home. So it's kind of like Paranormal Activity.
Or the Amityville Horror, or A Haunting in Connecticut, or
A
etc.
whole
It
bunch of
all,
other.
yeah.
Yeah, it's. I mean, it's 2012. So isn't that around where everybody was jumping on the Paranormal Activity slash? Because Amityville has been around much longer than that. But this sounds
Yeah.
like it.
It depends. It depends on how they filmed it.
It
Yeah,
might
there
have been
was
a part
around
of the whole.
around 2012. There were a number of films that came out around the whole, like, poltergeist phenomena sort of thing. Yes, yeah, that was
Yeah,
a big, and Paranormal Activity is part of the reason, not the whole reason, but part of the reason that got kicked off again. There was also a remake of Amityville not too long before that with Ryan Reynolds,
right.
which actually
So
isn't that bad.
how many Amityville movies have been made out? Have been made. I
4
mean,
plus the remake, so 5. Oh, and there's an Amityville shark movie.
what?
I haven't seen that one yet. I don't even know what it's like, how you
Okay,
get a shark in a house in the first place, but yeah.
maybe it's a poltergeist shark. It's probably Bruce. Next one.
Yep.
Fear.com. This one,
This one what?
I did watch.
Oh, this was about somebody who was murdering people online, wasn't it?
I think so. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. This
The
wouldn't have been my
uncertainty
cup of
of the
tea. I wouldn't
cyber
have watched
world.
this.
Yeah, the uncertainty of the cyber world lends itself to terror. The Unfriended series, yeah, movies, and especially hosts mind this pretty well. And in 2002, it felt like the perfect time to jump on that. The William Malone movie follows Detective Mike Riley, Stephen Dorff, and Department of Health researcher Terry Houston, Natasha McElhone, as they team up to uncover the cause behind four inexplicable. Why can't I always have trouble reading? Inexplicable deaths. Good lord! But when I'm not online, I read just fine. It's crazy. Unfortunately, aside from fleeting moments of stylishness, Fear.com is ugly, blandly gruesome, and worse, boring. Although the dialogues are relatively bad and the editing is questionable, Malone's film's worst sin is arguably a total waste of brilliant character actors Stephen Dorff, Natasha McElhone, Udo Kier. Ooh, that's right, Udo Kier was in it. The Crying Games, Stephen Reed all have nothing to do and appear flat out lost. The movie is forgettable.
Yeah. I don't know. It wouldn't have been my cup of tea anyway. It seems an awful lot like fucking Saw inspired torture porn.
Blessed Child. I don't know anything about this one.
I think I've heard the name somewhere, but it also could be because it's the name of a song by a band I like too. So I don't know.
I've never even heard of this movie, so it had to be like straight to VHS or straight to DVD. It had to be.
Mm. So sometimes they come
three
out
years
and you
after
never hear about them.
3 years after she won an Academy Award for a resplendent turn on L.A. Confidential, Basinger appeared in this hot mess about child abduction, devil worshippers, and terrible special effects. Okay. This came out in 2000. Yeah, now I know why I didn't see this. I wasn't even in America at that time. I was stationed in Korea. So I wasn't even thankfully I wasn't even here to see it. That explains why I never heard of it.
Mhm. Yeah, I got nothing. I didn't watch it.
Yeah. It looks, The Haunting of Molly Hartley.
Jesus, there's a theme with this list, man. Never heard of this one either, but why
I've heard
not?
of
There's a
it. In
bunch of
fact,
hauntings and possessions and shit like that all coming out at the same time. So
I've heard of it. In fact, I think I've seen it. So this girl's family had a pact with Satan. I think something about I think when she turns 18 or something like that, he gets her. I can't remember. But a young woman's family packed with Satan, romantic rivalries, and actors who definitely aren't teens playing teenagers. Yep, who like to party. Despite its critical failure, it was a mild commercial success, and it was. I mean, it wasn't horrible. Um, but there's other movies I would have put on this list before this one. There's definitely other movies out there that could have gone on this list. Um, let's see. Next one. Alone in the Dark. I have not seen this one.
also based on a video game, also a very shitty movie.
So you saw it.
Terror. I saw part of it, but just part of it because I'm pretty sure I was stoned or drunk or something. Anyway, Tara Reid's in it. Star of Sharknado.
Right.
2 through like 6, and also American
And
Pie.
Christian Slater.
Yeah, but that guy will be in anything if you pay him enough. He's kind of like Nick Cage that way.
Well, Nick Cage stars still a little brighter than a lot brighter than Christian Slater's.
Yeah, he still has a career.
Fun fact, there was a director that was going to make Nicolas Cage Superman. This is back in the 90s.
Yeah,
He
I
actually
remember.
thought it was a good idea. He was going to make Superman when Superman Returns came out with Brandon Ruth, who by the way I
Mhm.
went to school with his wife. That was originally supposed to be Nicolas Cage.
It was a different script though too entirely. There was a giant robot
Yeah.
spider and some other shit too, and all that. Which funny story, the Nicolas Cage version of Superman does appear briefly in The Flash.
Mhm. Yep.
Stupidly, but it's in there.
Yeah, just had to torture us. Just had to torture us.
Well, he wasn't bad, but he didn't have any lines. He just punched a robot, and then that was it. That was his whole cameo.
That was about what everybody could probably stomach with him as Superman. Funny thing
I
is,
don't know.
I didn't have a problem with him being Ghost Rider.
Those
Uh,
movies are not good either. But
no, but that's not his fault. It's
I
bad
have
writing.
grown to I have grown to appreciate Nick Cage more in my adult years than I did when I was young. When I was young, I was like, "Oh, he's Nick Cage. He always plays Nick Cage," and it sucks. But I think there's a kind of genius to it, and I'm much more willing to watch Nick Cage flicks these days than I was when I was young.
Right. Okay. Beneath the Darkness. I've never heard of this one either. That looks
Yep, me
like
neither.
Liam Neeson in the back. Beneath the
Yep, never
Darkness.
heard of it.
Um, Texas said beneath. Let's see. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. That's Dennis Quaid. So it's a derivative teen thriller plot about a murder and a cover-up, probably due to its unengaging premise that leaves out much to be desired. The 2011 flick was a box office flop. It only earned $23,000 all over the globe. Woo, that is bad. It was so vanilla and unremarkable. It makes I Know What You Did Last Summer look like a masterpiece by comparison. Unfortunately, his obviously this guy's R-rated debut falls several stories short of expectations and inevitably takes a place on this list. Yeah, that's bad. Homecoming, 2009.
Hmm. I don't know.
Former Bay town with a new girlfriend, while poorly received critics worldwide, earning 8.5 million against a 1.5 million-dollar budget. That is a success.
Hmm.
I mean, it's small numbers when you look at it, but money-wise,
Hey,
them
Sasquatch.
that is a success. What's going on, Caucasian Sasquatch?
You know what Misha Barton's most famous role was? I mean, she was on the OC for a couple of years till they killed the character off or whatever. Which, by the way, I thought they killed the actress. Like the actress actually died because my mom said was a big fan of that show, made such a big deal out of her character dying off, and for a couple of years I thought that Misha Barton herself had died, but she didn't. But her most memorable role is as the sick girl in The Sixth Sense. You know, the one under the bed.
No, I didn't. I didn't watch Sixth Sense.
Oh well, definitely do. It's good.
Why? I don't want to see
So.
dead people.
Well, neither did that little kid, but he had to anyway.
I
So,
see
but yeah,
dead
she's in that
people.
as a child.
Okay. All right. Next one. The Disappointments Room. Never watched this one. Even though it had Kate Beckinsale in it.
It's got a title I've never heard of.
Yeah, I think she's like stuck in a hotel room or something like that. Something to that effect. Brooklyn couple who discover a weird room in their new country house, and who could okay. There's been a lot of these popping up in England. People are posting videos of finding creepy rooms in their houses and stuff, and finding little shrines and all kinds of stuff.
In England, that's not surprising. Most of those houses are centuries old. Yeah, it'd be really cool as if
And
they found a secret room with an air conditioner because they don't have that in England.
cabin fever. Yeah, cabin
Cabin
fever.
fever sucks.
Yeah, I'd leave cabin fever on. I'm sorry, I wa- that was time that was time I wish I could get back. It definitely belongs on this list, and it belongs high up on this list too. In
It's
fact,
a
it's probably
remake too,
exactly
by the
where it
way.
should be. Yeah,
Not even 20 years after the original came out, they remade that piece of shit, which was a piece of shit the first time.
exactly.
Such a stupid movie.
Let's see, and let's see, Jaws: The Revenge.
That's number 2. Come on, there are movies on this that are higher up that are much worse than Jaws of Revenge
Yeah,
was.
I think this
Michael
was
Caine's in
personal.
Jaws. Yeah,
Yeah,
at this time it is
I
personal.
Yeah, I think this selection was personal. I don't think it was just a haphazard choice. This was personal. There's a Jaws fan out there that was really pissed at this sequel and wanted to make sure that everybody knew it. How low can you
Yeah,
go is the name of the game in this abominable third sequel to arguably the best suspense film ever made. The fourth and final film in the Jaws franchise shifted the focus to now widowed Ellen Brody and her genuine belief that a white shark is seeking revenge on her family, especially when it kills her youngest son and then follows her to the Bahamas. Yeah, sharks don't forget. You better
they
go
don't
hire some
remember either.
dolphins.
They've got tiny fucking brains.
Yeah. She'd have been all right if she went and hired some dolphins.
Yep.
Like you said, Michael Caine.
Yeah, he's famous for being asked about Jaws of Revenge. He's just like, yeah, I don't remember doing that movie, but I do remember the house it bought me.
Yep. He missed the Oscars to go film it. They must offer him a lot of money. What's number one? One Missed Call.
Okay, I've heard of it, but I never watched it, so I don't. Yeah.
I never watched it either. It's a retelling of Ringu.
Is it? Or are you talking about? No, no, it's talking about Naomi Watts, who was in
Okay,
The
wait.
Ring, which is a retelling
It
of
was a
Ringu.
box office Leviathan and the beginning of a J horror remake influx in Hollywood. The worst of the mostly terrible pale imitators of the solid Ring in this flame thriller about cursed voicemails.
Hmm.
Gore Verbinski's phenomenally successful retelling of Ringu accumulated a handful of mixed to negative critical notices. They were mostly positive. Compared to Woman's Call, which centers around Beth Raymond as she witnesses the deaths of two friends who hear horrifying messages through the phone, that film is psycho and untouchable peak of horror genre. According to Rotten Tomatoes, based on 80 reviews. This insult to Takashi Miike's well-received original is the worst horror movie ever. 80 reviews is a lot to overcome. A lot of people were really pissed about that. So,
Yeah. Well, and that was back when being featured on Rotten Tomatoes mattered.
yeah.
Now it doesn't. All those positive reviews are bought.
True. All right, folks. Well, with that said, sorry tonight is a short one. We thank you for coming through. Sam, I hope you feel better. Tomorrow, I believe there will be Screaming Into the Void. And I'll just start off with myself. You guys can catch me here next week. We will be picking versus back up. It will be Candyman versus the Tall Man, and of course, we'll have some little bit of infamous news for you guys, and we'll start giving you some updates about October as we get closer. That's it for me.
Yeah, indeed. So for my part, yes, there will be a Screaming Into the Void tomorrow. We'll see how it goes. I'm not sure if Gal's going to be able to make it. She's got some stuff going on, so she might not be with us tomorrow. So we'll see. Hopefully somebody shows up, or it's just going to be me. But I do have some topics to talk about then, and then here in about a little under 2 hours, I'll be over on Beelzebub Hub for Beelzebub Pub. Tonight is the much vaunted and much hyped donut eating contest between Know Me Without You and Dermy Wormy. So this will be fun. Plus, we'll have Adam the Renaissance Nerd on there to make fun of Dermy gratuitously. So should be an interesting time. Other than that, find me over on same dude, Adam the Renaissance Nerds channel on Monday for his show Mellow Mondays. And when Amira, the Exiled Lioness, goes live, you can always find me in the chat there, and usually backstage and occasionally on panel alongside Lawrence Knight here. So otherwise, yeah, we'll be back next week. Hopefully we're both feeling better by then, and all that. But yeah, can't wait to see you. Have a great night. Remember, it could always be worse. Could be raining flaming covers. Night, everybody.
See you guys.